Hey, I'm back, and today I want to talk about a new way to do parallel processing. If you don't know, parallel processing is a way you can take a signal, split it into, and process one side however you want, and then you can blend it together. And so lots of people do this with buses, but one problem I've had is it creates volume differences, and that's not always ideal. So today I'm going to show you how to use MRatio so you can eliminate the volume differences, and you can also smoothly fade between one sound and another sound. So I'll give you about 3 applications of how you can do this, and maybe this will give you some ideas of cool things on your own. So anyways, let's get started. If we look here, we have an instrument track, but we need to split this up. So the first thing we need to do is we need to take this and we need to make a new aux track here, like this. And let's route this out to main here, down at the bottom. Make sure I'm still recording. Good, I am. So now that we have that, let me rename it. I'll name it combo because this is going to be the combination of 2 sounds. And now we need to take this. I'll delete this. Create a new send or new aux track like this, and call this split. Okay, so now we have 2 tracks, the main track and then the split track, and this is the combination of the 2. But now we need to blend them together, so this is where we use the MRatio. And if you don't know, this MRatio is free. You can go to Melda Productions, download it for free. It's part of the free bundle, and that's great. You don't have to pay anything. Now we go here in the split, and we take the send and send it into the sidechain of MRatio. So now if we play this track here, it should sound the same as we move all the way through it. The ratio is going from instrument at 0% to split, 100% split at the other side, but I'll let you hear it. Okay, so it should have sounded the same the whole way through. There's a little bit of a volume difference. If you change it to linear, that will kind of get rid of some of the volume difference, so move it like that, and you shouldn't hear it. If you try this and you notice, like, hey, there's something wrong, like I'm hearing phasing or something else that sounds weird in the middle, you're probably having some problems with latency, so check your host, like your DAW, or check any plugins you have, because sometimes they introduce latency, and that's not what you want. So there we have it. Actually, let me take this split and put it to none because you don't need it to output anywhere. So combo, okay, everything should be in the right place. Now let's talk about what you can do with it, because that's boring. You don't need to fade between the same sounds. But what I can do here is I can take something like distortion, take M limiter. This is also free. Turn it down here. Turn clip 1. So I can distort this fairly hard, and I'll let you hear the distortion. This is just the split track, so I'll let you hear it. So you can hear that's really distorted, but if we use MRatio here, we can go between distorted and clean. I liked it right there about 40%, and you can blend it in there, and it doesn't sound completely destroyed like it did before, but it's not completely clean either. It has a little bit more punch. I'll let you hear it, and I'll bypass it so you can hear the clean and the blended. Here we go. So you can hear it if I go back and forth. And it's making a little bit of a difference, but one of the problems with normal parallel compression, like, for example, this has a wet dry, so it's like, why would I go through all this trouble when I can just put this, there and use the wet dry? But let's say I want to do something else, like I use a filter here, like M filter, and I think, you know what, I want to use, actually, I don't want to use M filter, what am I talking about? I want to use M band pass, which is also another free one. So you get all that free stuff, it's great. Let's do a high pass filter, and let's kick up the Q so I have like a little bump there in the low end. As we move it up, you'll be able to hear more bass come in for the kick drum. So you can hear it's really distorting on the low end. But there's other things we can do. I can take the high pass filter and I think, I don't want so many distorted cymbals, so let's bring that down a little bit. And now let's blend it again. So you can hear there's a big difference there. It has a lot more thump on the bass drum. That might be a little bit too much, probably distorting the low end. But you can do this however you want. This is just an example of what you can do. You can use an EQ there. You can use any effect, actually. And you can use this with compression instead of distortion, too. So it's really versatile, and it gives you lots of options there. But let me show you something else you can do. So let's say we imagine we have something like this Wivy Band trumpet, and it's playing a melody, but Wivy Band, it doesn't really have any ambiance, so you need, I think I want like a room mic or something, but let me just let you listen to it dry as it is. Move this all the way over. Here we go. Okay, so that's really, really dry. It's much drier than I'd ever want anything. So let's move over here and let's use a different plugin this time. Let's go to Hornet Spaces. This is a new one that was released, and I really like it. One, it's really cheap, but also it allows us to kind of simulate a real room. So I don't know, what do I have here? Do I have anything good? Minimal stereo. I don't want that. I don't know. Let's try small color space, medium. Actually, let me just make something. So I'll go here, 45%. Move things up. That seems like a fairly good space there. Stereo at 100. Move the accuracy up. Move up the dampening a bit. And let's hear it now. Okay, so that's sounding like it's in some type of room there. I can move the dampening down a little bit too. But I think, you know what, there's still a little bit too much top end, so I'm going to go back here to the M band pass. I'll use a little preset I made for distance. Here, I use the distance. As I move this up, it moves the low pass filter down and the high pass filter up. So it's easy enough. If you don't understand like why I'm doing this, check out my tutorial on depth. In that one, I really explained how I did this, and I went into more detail, and I do a more complex setup than this. But this is just an easy way to do it with a bandpass filter and a reverb. But let's hear it now. So that's sounding pretty good, and now the last part is what I want to do is add in the ratio. So I want to just kind of blend it in to taste. So let's start completely dry and blend it in. So that's sounding pretty good to me, but I think I might even want a little bit more. The blend is good, but I think I want something to kind of glue it together. So I'd probably use a second reverb on top, like here. Let's use something different. Let's use Acon Digital Verberate, and let's use a long haul. Let's say Boston Hall. Turn off the early reflections because Hornet Spaces, that's generating all the early reflections I need. Turn the pre-delay up a little bit to give Hornet time to do its thing. And now let's hear it. Okay, good. That's pretty much what I want. Let's talk about one more thing. I have this track here. With guitar, I can do the same thing. So let's make it slightly smaller space here. Let's see, have MRatio. Do it completely dry so you can hear it. Okay, so you heard it dry, but I think like this is a little bit too dry. Sometimes I want a little bit of a room sound, but if you're like me, you have a terrible room, so you can't really record anything because you get all these terrible reflections you don't want. But let's try this trick and add some more room sound in. So I'll start it all the way to 100 and then dial it back a little bit. So there you go. I know lots of guitarists actually do this. They set up, mics in their rooms and record it like that. And you could do the same thing for drums if you don't have room mics for your drums, etc. And then from there, I could add, delay or another reverb if I want more sound. Or I could even compress them all together. I know that's how Steve Vai does it. He uses some close mics and then he uses some mics that are far away and then he combines them all together and compresses them. But actually, there's a third thing I can do, which I kind of messed up, but let me try to do it here on the fly. Bear with me here. I haven't tried this before, so I don't know how well it's going to work. I apologize. It seems like my high E string's a little bit out of tune, so that's not good at all. But at least I have it recorded. So now that's done, and one of the things I can do is take this. Actually, I'll put a instance of S gear here. Let's see. Turn off this. Put this here. Turn the ratio all the way up. Turn the level down because I don't know how loud it's going to be, but let's hear it. Okay, that was loud and it's also had too much reverb on it, but turn the reverb off like that and then do something else. Let's move it down, do another copy here, and let's change the preset, something in the factory. Let's try Plexi Monster. I'm also going to do the same thing. Remove this, turn this ratio down here, and let's try now. Okay, that's obviously too loud, but we're going to try to do something about that. So now I can use this to blend between them. So let's hear the blend. So with this, I can go between two different amp sounds. I can combine them together. I know lots of guitarists like to do this. And this isn't double tracking, so don't think like, oh, I can just not double track anymore. But if you want the sound of two amps played together, I know for Andy Timmons' Resolution album, which is one of my favorite albums for guitar tones, and maybe one of my favorite albums, period. But he used, I think, 2 different amps at the same time. So this is one thing you can use to help you get that type of tone. And also, I think you can also pan them left and right if I really went in here with S gear and did that. And so I could have one like a Fender sound on the left and a Marshall sound on the right. And there's all sorts of other things you could do. You could also do this with a synth sound, so have like blend synths together and fade between them. Just automate this in your DAW to fade between them as the song goes on, if you want. But those are just a few tricks. I know this went on a while, but hopefully I showed you some cool things. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, share it, leave me a comment below, and most importantly, subscribe. Thanks, and until next time, see you. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that video, please remember to thumbs it up, check out some of my other videos below, and don't forget, subscribe. Thanks. Bye.